Lads, we're back.
Yeah,
We are.
we're still here, still alive.
We've been recording, just cut it down a bit until now.
Sorry?
We're talking
We've
about
done the Big
cottage
Brother
pie.
thing. Yeah.
We're talking about cottage pie.
Yeah. You know, it's this different from shepherd pie. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is. You don't go to a.
You try and get Adam upset within the first 30 seconds of starting.
You don't go to an Englishman and say that a cottage and shepherd's pie are the same thing. They're not. That's just.
I may have made that mistake on Saturday.
If you go to Gordon Ramsay and you get that mixed up, he's gonna call you a donkey. All right.
I think a little worse than a donkey.
Yeah.
We're gonna put two pieces of bread and say, "What are you?" I mean, you have to reply, "I'm an idiot sandwich chef."
Mm-hmm. Did they show it on the Food Network Canada? No, they're not going to show that there. It's too explicit. No,
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I think he's upset them. There's a certain group of the culinary world who are not fans of Gordon, and there are also a large number of people that Gordon does not like. And I watch a lot of Ramsay stuff, and he makes it very clear.
He's not a big fan of Canada.
No, he likes Canada.
Oh, okay.
It's just like he doesn't like Bobby Flay, for example. I don't know if Bobby Flay's Canadian or not, but I don't know. Bobby Flay's also a chef. Like they were supposed to do a cook-off in Vegas, but Gordon Ramsay was on Hot Ones and he was saying he calls me, he's like, "Bobby, sign the damn contract," because I guess he's scared to take Gordon on.
Hot Ones is a show and a half. I love that thing.
I have a question. If you could compare an NHL player, a current one, who would Gordon Ramsay be in today's NHL?
In terms of his talent as a chef.
But also like his notoriety. How you
who's
said
a pretty good player.
Some people you like him, but some people don't.
Who's a really good player? Yeah, but he has to be a really good player, and they have to be a really good chirper.
PK. Because also I can't think of, because first of all, most hockey players aren't even that famous in the grand scheme of things. Yeah. And the ones who really are don't really show their personality, unfortunately, except for like PK. And he's decisive. I would probably say him. And
PK, not
PK
Brad.
is never really has never said to like another player, you're a tosser, get out the kitchen, you're terrible, that you're this. I'm sure he said, "You suck, bud," but
not Brad Marchand. Like that's kind of the first, that was the first name that came to my mind. I know Brad Marchand isn't as, I mean, it's hard to compare chefs to hockey players in terms of being famous, but like, I mean, listen, if Gordon Ramsay was a hockey player, I can 100% see him licking someone. I'm not going to lie.
See, you know what? When he was an athlete, he was a defenseman. I think he was a defenseman before his hockey career or football career ended. And he said he was fast and that. So I'm thinking like the reason I would say PK is defenseman kind of thing there, both quick, that type of thing. But I think for the attitude part, I think Brad Marchand is a very good comparison.
You're telling me you couldn't see him licking someone?
Gordon Ramsay? No, because he's actually very much about the standards. Like that man is like, you don't have a hot plate to serve food, go away. It's insane how high his standards are, but that's
chef's code.
Yeah, that's why he's so successful and so.
Don't lick people in the kitchen.
Fair.
Yeah, don't. He would probably throw you out by the scruff of your neck. Anyway, though, I love opening the show with that because you know there are not easy topics we're gonna have to talk about today in the hockey world.
Yeah.
It is nice we have a bit of levity. Something else, if you haven't already, go back, listeners, and give our last podcast a play. We have Harman Dial back on from The Athletic, Vancouver Canucks beat writer. We had a great episode. We talked for 10, and we talked how half of Calgary has gone to Vancouver. We talked about Tyler Toffoli. I mean, do it.
Yeah. Can I just say, can I just say, we've had, I think we're at over 100 episodes now. Right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That was, if I'm, listen, I think we've had some pretty good episodes, but I think that's really up there in top 5, top 3.
Oh yeah, indeed. So people, go listen to that. And if we're going to open this show one way, I want to do it like this. So I have passed the 6 weeks since my jaw surgery, right? So I'm allowed to eat whatever I want finally.
Yeah.
I still have to get all the strength back because stuff still hurts, but I want to give a shout out to Crescent Oral Surgery for doing such an amazing job, especially Dr. Christopher with a K Lee. Dr. Lee, I love you, man. and that whole staff
Does
are
he
great.
Does he listen to the show?
I told him about last appointment, so hopefully he does. He's actually he is a Leafs fan. He is a Blue Jays fan as well.
That's good.
He was a bit disappointed to what happened to the Jays, but
Yeah.
That's how we all went for the Dodgers in the World Series.
Yeah, I forgot to add it on the doc, but quickly, like, Dr. Lee, thank you very much. And if you're listening to this, and like, I think you have to get a referral for some stuff, but like, get your orthodontist or whatever. Like, go to Christopher Lee. He's awesome.
Not Count Dooku.
Let's talk about
Who the
that. I
hell's Count
forgot to
Dooku?
put this like in the doc, but
Why?
yeah, the Dodgers are MLB. What do you call them? They won the
World Series
The World
champions.
Series, yes.
Yeah. What's their trophy called? Is it like the managers?
The
thing?
Commissioner's Trophy.
That's such a dumb name. But like, what I want to talk about here is, and this is when I so get exposed when I don't have my prep about other sports. I really want to talk to you guys. Justin Turner, that was his name.
There we go.
Yeah.
What position does he play?
Right, third base. I was gonna say right base. Third base, right?
Yeah, it's usually
Does he
third
not?
base. Yeah, but he moved to like left field here and there.
Well, he moved off the field because he got a COVID
Cool guy.
positive test, but then he was like a boomerang and came back onto the field to celebrate with his team, despite being pulled off because his test came back positive.
Can I read the MLB statement once I find it? It's it's a little embarrassing if I'm being honest.
Well,
Yeah.
they are an embarrassing league, aren't they?
From what I've seen, like, it's pretty disappointing, not just from like the health perspective, but it's a kind of guy where Justin's a guy that he's like a huge fan favorite for the Dodgers.
Mhm.
And he's a guy that's been there, through this is their third time in the finals in 3 years. And
Really?
yeah, but the thing is, the 2017 one was when the Astros cheated.
Oh,
But they cleanly lost to the Red Sox in 2018. But the thing is, he's a guy that he's been there like the whole time, and I know like this meant a lot for him, the championship. But the fact that like he's become that new poster boy of like, we got COVID under control, and then now it kind of just looks like, oh, we actually didn't take it as seriously as we thought we should have.
So I have it here. I just want to read this part. However, so following the Dodgers' victory, it is clear that Turner chose to disregard the agreed upon joint protocols and the instructions he was given regarding the safety and protection of others. While a desire to celebrate is understandable, Turner's decision to leave isolation and enter the field was wrong and put everyone he came in contact with at risk. When MLB security raised the matter of being on the field with Turner, he emphatically refused to comply. The commissioner's office is beginning a full investigation into this matter and will consult the Players Association with the parameters of the joint 2020 operations manual. So they're just I feel like they're kind of just deflecting the issue
so the
off
NHL,
of themselves.
Yeah. So the NHL, over 30,000 tests, nothing. The bubble was so secure. The NBA liked that as well, but they had the one guy going to get McDonald's or whatever. Though the MLB has a guy test positive. They did a bubble, right? Like, I'm not misremembering.
No, they didn't do a bubble.
They did the playoffs. The playoffs
They did, yeah, but not
playoffs. They
Playoffs. Yes. So you do this bubble, which already, like, you're the first bubble to get a positive test. That's a joke. And he goes out to the field. Like, first of all, like,
Adam, I'll do you one better. I'll
Yeah,
do you
go
one
ahead.
better right now.
This guy's a joke.
I'll do you one better. This is the tweet he put out after. Thanks to everyone reaching out. I feel great. No symptoms at all. Just experienced every emotion you can possibly imagine. Are you ready for this, Adam? Are you ready for the next sentence I'm about to read?
Yeah.
Can't believe I couldn't be out there to celebrate with my guys.
Man, okay, first of all, ever heard of adrenaline? Sure, that's a factor. Second of all, it's if this doesn't affect him, if he's fine in the next few days, that's great. And this is the same thing of everyone saying, oh, this at the very early days of the pandemic, saying, oh, it only affects old people. People would say, well, dickhead, I guess you don't have a grandmother you care about. This guy is endangering everyone around him.
Yeah, and there was family members there for every Dodgers.
Right.
Like,
What a knob! This guy's a knob.
I can live with saying just him telling everyone how he is, because clear, like I imagine, like think about his mentions, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
What gets on my nerves is when he goes, "Can't believe I couldn't be out there to celebrate with my guys." Yet there is probably thousands of pictures on the internet of him out there celebrating.
Oh, that like had like photos on top of articles right now are just showing off this absolute. And like, I'm trying to not to repeat myself. He's just a knob. He's a knob of butter. Is what this guy is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw a picture someone put online on Twitter, and it was a picture. I believe he was I think he was with his wife, and underneath it said Justin Turner test positive for COVID-19.
Yeah,
he's
like next to his wife on the field.
I wonder what now. Steve Dangle had a really funny thing of like he shouldn't play in like 20. Not funny, that was a wrong word to use. But like Steve Dangle was saying stuff like, "All right, this should be at least like a 6-figure fine. He shouldn't play in 2021." The MLB already looked before they came back to play. They looked terrible with their player negotiations. Their season coming back was an absolute train wreck, guys. You know, the Blue Jays didn't have a place to play. Games were getting canceled, pushed back. And then this happened. If they don't and again, you have to question what's going to be more severe, this or what the Astros got. They will have another hit to their PR here. And we talk about hockey not growing. Baseball is right there as well. They cannot afford to look stupid again. Come on, do better. And I'm no way.
That should be the title of the episode, honestly.
Do better. Or knob of butter. I didn't really get that. I didn't get that one. You kept saying it.
A knob is another way of calling someone a dick.
Yeah, that I knew.
If you see a knob of butter, like Gordon Ramsay, a lot of the time when he's cooking, he'll be like, a knob of butter. It's just like a clump of butter. Like when he cooks his scrambled eggs, what you do to start, you don't use oil to cook scrambled eggs. What you do is you put a knob of butter in.
Oh, I didn't know that for next time I make eggs.
No, I knew knob was another word for that. I didn't know.
During our mid-episode break when I make eggs.
Yeah. You can cook eggs in like 2 minutes. Here's the key.
Not 25.
This is the key to making like a nice scramble, like just over medium heat. You get it, butter melt, 2 eggs per person. Whisk it, of course, perfect. You put it in. You never stop moving. Clean the edges. Make sure the yolk, not a single bit of it should go. You don't season it till it is done. You put all the eggs into one corner. Salt, pepper, give it a stir on the side until your toast is ready. Put the toast very tightly together so you get that eggy sort of texture into the bread. Toast, sorry. And it is amazing. Be careful with too much butter or salt because it may overpower. But like that's the key to a good scrambled egg.
Well, that was the good light of the situation.
You learn something
for the
new
whole
every
baseball.
day.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah.
You saw the positive in things, even though we've been Justin Turner, man. I like you so much.
Listen, I know in a few segments here it's gonna get really dark. So we gotta keep it like, and we can kind of say here. Congratulations. We really anything else you want to say about either scrambled eggs, knobs of butter, or the MLB being done?
No.
If we don't do better for this episode, we could do cottage pie.
Okay.
That's the title of this episode.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
We'll deal with that later.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Congratulations to the Price family. Carrie and Angela Price welcoming their 3rd child and their first son. Congratulations, Lincoln Price. Watch out for the 2038 draft when young Lincoln Price will be 1st overall.
That's like a law firm.
What? Lincoln Price Incorporated?
Yeah, or like Mackenzie Blackwood and Partners.
That's a good one. But hey, I'm so happy. They were hoping for a boy too. It's so nice. I'm so happy for him. God, good for him, Carrie. I love you, man.
We're happy that you're happy.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
How will this affect his play next season?
Well, see, the last time he had a kid, oh my God. Here's how tabloidy playing for the Montreal Canadiens is. When his 2nd child was born, he got an injury right before, so he was able to be there, right?
Yeah.
And if you know anything about athletes, especially starting goaltenders like Price, who are so protective over their starts, this is what's going to be annoying. They accused him of faking the injury so he could go be there for the birth of his child. So if you're going to start talking
I don't know if it's just a Montreal thing.
Yeah, because in Toronto and Fred VanVleet Jr.
Oh, that's not. I wasn't even thinking about Toronto. I was thinking about Boston. But
well, like that's big news. Remember, he did well when his son was born. Helped.
Well,
helped win championships.
When Tarasenko's first kid was born, he was a beast in the playoffs or something.
Yeah, made the NHL cover.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Good for him. I really hope his shoulder's okay, though. I really do. Otherwise, all right. Alex Galchenyuk signs a 1-year deal, just over $1 million. Who cares about that stuff?
Really, I actually want to get your opinion on this because
I'm not dismissing the whole segment. I'm just saying, and
okay.
With the Ottawa Senators, lads. What Daniel? What do you wanna know?
Redemption? Is this a redemption thing? Is it still considered a low, like buy low, high risk or low? Low risk, high reward.
If you can't do it in Ottawa, I think that I thought Minnesota was going to be it, but with Ottawa giving them a chance, I mean, fine for them. I mean, you're getting a guy, which is what they need. If he can't cut it there, if he can't pull a Ryan Dzingel, you're one of those guys that just someone has to score on your team, right? And he's in that position because again, he has the skill. The offensive ability is there. This guy scored 30 goals before. He's got that ability. It's just he's terrible in his own zone, and he cannot play center.
I remember. Yes, I was going to ask you that too. If he was going to go back to playing center, or is he going to keep him on the left?
No. That experiment is long over. Long.
You don't think Ottawa could? I wouldn't be surprised if they tried again.
Yeah. I just remembered Montreal when they were trying it, and then I remember seeing the lineups, and then eventually they're like, "No, it doesn't work. Let's put David Desharnais as the first line center."
Him and Pacioretty, man, they had that one good year.
Can I just want to throw this thought out in there, and it's not my own thought, so I'm just going to quote the tweet. It's from Adam's favorite person, Rachel Dory. I think this isn't the tweet. I'll get to the tweet in a minute. We were talking about Tim Stützle a couple episodes ago, I think, and we were talking about how, well, obviously he had just gotten injured, I think at that point, and had just had surgery. He's going to come in on the left wing, right? I remember hearing that. I remember Pierre Dorian saying, we envision him as our future number one center, but we're going to start him on the wing. And, Adam, you brought up an interesting point that Galchenyuk's probably going to play on the wing. Mm-hmm. Right. So this is our tweet. The Galchenyuk signing is interesting. We spoke about Mannheim, which is the team he plays for, not wanting to release Stützle on the podcast. It's best for his development to stay there for the season, in my opinion. Why burn a year in a shortened season? Galchenyuk seems like a stopgap in the event Tim Stützle does not come.
Hey, perfect sense. Perfect sense.
I really thought they were going to put one of their younger guys just filling in one of the top 9 things. They
got plenty of younger guys.
Yeah, I was thinking Vitaly Abrahamov or Rudolf Balcers, one of those guys go somewhere there.
Philip Schlappick, I'm sure, is in there too.
Yeah, I mean, Pajot's gone. Right now, Duclair's gone. Right, those are 2 more spots. I don't. It's not I think these young guys are going to be up. It's not going to be a fun season in Ottawa in terms of winning.
Everything okay?
I'm kind of worried that a light is going off in my apartment.
It looks like sirens.
And there many times here I have had it, and then the elevator shuts down for a fire drill, and I have to walk down 40 flights of stairs. It stopped. It's just my heart skipped a beat because I thought the sirens were about to go.
So did I.
I thought it was lightning or something.
Yeah, see,
rainstorm in Montreal.
It's not raining too. It's cold, but it's not been raining or anything. Jesus. Sorry.
It's back on again, Adam.
Yeah, Adam's back on.
Well, we'll see what happens. I'll mute I'll cover my just because go ahead. Kind of screws with people sometimes, right? It's off now, but I'll wait till it's off for.
Okay.
Do we have anything else we want to say about Galchenyuk?
I'm cheering for the guy to kind of get where he needs to go. Like he's lost a ton of confidence going to team after team, and I don't know what's gonna happen to him in Ottawa, what it's gonna look like eventually. But I hope he kind of rebuilds his value.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate to say, but I have a slight feeling it might be his last chance to figure something out in the NHL.
I think that's fair. I think that's very fair to say. Right.
Oh man, that 2012 draft.
Oh, it's so bad. It is just the dog's dinner of drafts.
I'm not complaining about it.
I mean, yeah, Morgan Riley, great, good player, really good player.
Ducks aren't complaining about it.
Oh, that's true. Hampus Lindholm
and Frederick Anderson.
Man,
no, that's true. Yeah.
Morgan Riley was gonna go third. Apparently, Mark Bergevin won and was like, "Oh, the staff, great job, staff." Right.
I remember sorry before we move on. I just remember I had a few friends in high school where they wanted Galchenyuk to drop to the Leafs because they're like, "Oh, we need a center."
Right, and I think Kadri was the draft after or before. It was a few years before, right?
Kadri was 3 years before, yeah.
And no one liked him.
I liked him.
Well, there was a lot of people who were not a fan of him.
Hey, but
I remember the argument was like Oliver Ekman-Larsson went right before Kadri.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Hey,
loved
him by the time you left.
We don't have any Leafs things, so I just want to throw this in here now.
Mm-hmm.
It's really quick.
Yeah.
And I think I brought it up to Adam. Can we stop talking about so poorly about TJ Brody from last season? Because, I think a lot of us forget what happened because, it's been like a full year. But TJ Brody, I believe he passed out during a practice.
Did he not have a seizure?
I believe it was a seizure. So I mean, listen, something bad happened at practice. I think let's just put it at that. So that severely screws up. It can severely screw up a player's season. I think let's not put it past that. So to say, he's starting to drop off, I think is a little bit of a stretch.
I think so. Yeah. Thoughts, Adam?
Like seizure-like convulsions in practice, and he collapsed. That is terrifying. All right, later in the show, we will be continuing our deep dives, looking at certain teams. We're looking at Colorado this week because they've just re-signed Devon Toews after just robbing the Islanders of them. Looking at what you can argue is maybe the best defensive core in the West or the league. Period. Vegas will have something to say about that, but I mean, we're going to look at that a little later. Though first. Two sort of the points here. One is unfortunate, but you can look at it and you can celebrate one's life. And that is Joey Moss, who was a long-time attendant of the Edmonton Oilers locker room, passed away. And you always can tell just how important someone was to one's heart or just to communities is when you can see what's said about them once they're gone. And it's also something unfortunate in life is it's not until someone goes that you really appreciate them. McDavid, everyone from the Oilers, I believe even Wayne Gretzky was saying stuff too, because you may have heard of this. Gretzky was an Oiler. You may have heard of Wayne Gretzky, pretty good player.
He was a what?
But
I remember as a St. Louis Blue.
Yeah. Oh God. I
only know him as retired.
Mm-hmm. I just wondered if you guys maybe had a quick thought on Joey Moss, because it seemed to be anything about this guy was just the positivity he brought to the room, and it just sort of uplifting everyone around him.
I didn't know how much of an impact he seemed to put on the, I knew of him, and I guess maybe it was not really talked about a whole lot in Toronto, but I think, looking at Gretzky, looking at McDavid, looking at all the guys posting about it, I think even a guy like Sam Gagner posted about it, and he's had multiple stints there as well. Just to see the impact he's had, the impact he's had on all those guys is pretty incredible.
Daniel.
Yeah, getting to know more about him, like just like I didn't really get to see too much of him, but like hearing about him, like it's like that definition of like a super fan. In a way that like he was that guy that always was around the Oilers. It was kind of like cultivated like what that community and culture was, and he's definitely someone that like was very well loved by the organization. That it is very sad to see.
With everything that's sort of that's gone wrong with the Oilers and just how poorly they've been ran for what feels like ever. It's nice to know that you always have that kind of presence around your organization. That sort of ray of sunshine, right? So, rest in peace and condolences to the family, obviously.
Yeah.
And this is when the show.
Just quickly before we go too dark, very dark. Do you want to talk about Tyler Bertuzzi?
Oh yeah, he's still in Disney.
I thought that was a little interesting. He had a case, obviously his case went to arbitration. What do you like? He's an interesting guy because what is Tyler Bertuzzi?
Lil Bert.
No. But because is he? When you think of Detroit and you think of that their first line right now, my thought goes right to Bertuzzi and Larkin, and I believe Mantha was up there as well when he wasn't injured, and that seemed to be their first line. And the last 2 years he has taken a step, right? Last year he had 47 points in 73 games, 21 goals. This year
you are cutting out a bit.
I'm cutting out. How about now?
Oh no! Oh boy.
Alex, you're cutting out.
You sound like Starscream.
Okay, before I cut out, what was I saying?
You were talking about the first line of Detroit.
Oh,
about Bertuzzi, about Larkin and
yeah. I mean, because Bertuzzi's taken a step the last 2 years in terms of like he's this 2 years in a row he's had 21 goals. This year would have been a career year if they'd played 82 games. Like what I don't know what Tyler Bertuzzi is.
I kind of see it as quality piece guys, but they're guys that you put around when you have a core already. And like this is my opinion, where they could really show me up later on these comments. But I kind of just feel like when I think of like a Bertuzzi or I think of a Mantha, I think of a Chris Kreider. I think of a guy that is someone that could play in your top 6, but he's not necessarily going to be your go-to guy all the time. Right. I think that, not saying like they have inflated stats, but they've been getting the minutes because really Detroit's just been waiting on their young talent to develop. And I think that for me, like that's where it is. I think the 3.5 for Tyler Bertuzzi was fair for him as a show me kind of thing of what can you kind of be in the long term for us.
Is he a medium top 6 potential player?
Second line, like you wonder if it's the same thing as Dzingel. It's like, well, you're gonna score with all this ice time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we look like a real team and we have real players, and when we go down to the nitty-gritty of ice allocation, where actually are you in this lineup, right?
Maybe we'll do a deep dive on Detroit.
God help us.
That'd be fun. Franz Nielsen.
It'd be a whole lot of prospect talk.
That's what it would be. Right. So look at the NHL team. Nothing here. Okay, so let's talk about one-sider. Ooh, and Lukas.
Michael Rasmussen.
Yeah, he's a guy. Philip Hronik. Funny name. Kinda. All right.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So the biggest headline around hockey right now. It was trending, like not just sports Twitter, but it was just trending on Twitter. And when hockey is trending, it's either like the Leafs have done stuff, or like it's something disastrous, and that's exactly what this was. So, a prospect by the name of Mitchell Miller, who was just drafted in 2020 NHL draft by the Arizona Coyotes, 111th. Reports kind of came out about this guy he had previously admitted, and I believed also was in juvenile detention, or juvie as you call it, for. And again, this isn't like accused, like admitted to this as well, like prosecuted.
Yeah. Before you go,
Yeah.
let's just shout out who put the report out first, because I think as journalists it's important. The Arizona Republic.
Yeah.
That's. I get
that. It's basically this kid. Well, he's an adult now. He's 18. He's an adult. Okay, let's get that straight. He's in a position now where he is been drafted by an NHL team. He has that privilege where, one of the 31 teams in this league has given this kid a shot. And why this is so hard to talk about is what this kid has done in the past. And that is basically I don't even want to say bullying, because it feels like it's just so much more. Blatant racism. Him and a schoolmate bullied a disabled Black student by the name of Isaiah Mayer Carruthers. I believe I'm saying that right. Some of the stuff that they did was, saying stuff like, go back to, go to the fields and do stuff. It's difficult to say. Using the N-word. And one sort of event here that's really hard to talk about is they got a lollipop that they had. And okay, hold on. If you're a bit squeamish, if this stuff is a bit difficult for you to listen to, I'm going to advise listeners. It's not going to be easy to listen to, all right? Because it sure as hell was not easy to read. They had gotten a lollipop and had rubbed it on the inside of a urinal and had tricked this kid into licking it. Now, I believe his family, because his foster family went and got him tested for HIV. Luckily, everything came back negative. Some people call this hate crime. It's racist. I wish we could swear. It is a total disregard for human decency. And we're going to spend time on this because there's so much I want to say here. There's ripping this kid. There's ripping the Coyotes for drafting him because other teams had him on no draft list. I know the Canucks didn't, and apparently it's at least 10 teams. And I'm talking a lot here, and I know I'm a bit kind of broken up with this. I'm not delivering this the best because I don't know how you talk about this. I don't know how you can just like level-headedly kind of talk about this because it's disgusting. And and the Coyotes have the nerve to say they're going to make him a part of an anti-bullying campaign. And this kid hasn't. The foster mother came out and said that, that Mitchell hasn't even personally apologized to Isaiah. Apparently the other student has, and Isaiah has apparently forgiven him. So that speaks volume about Mitchell Miller that he hasn't even done this. And apparently as of 2 years ago, the foster mother said was still apparently taunting him, still not apologized. And she wrote to all 31 teams about this story. And the Coyotes made the decision to draft him. What a garbage organization. How does anyone in that organization allow that to happen? Who honestly stands up and says, this is a good idea? Who, when you put that draft list together, thinks this is our guy, this is our kid? Mm-hmm. There are hundreds of other players that we could pick ahead of this kid. What? Yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah. Daniel, do you want to go first or?
Yeah. It's like what I kind of said before to you guys. Like I don't know what short-sightedness this was with the Coyotes, where it's an organization that has said that, we're going into looking at more diversity, with the sport. We're going to areas in Arizona where we feel like, we could say to the other cultures that, you know, let's spread more hockey, you know, let's not make it so centralized, and to make a move like this, you know, to boast at the fact that, you know, in their upper management now they have people who are of, you know, they're of Latin American descent, that this is still happening. And the fact that, you know, this was the Coyotes, like one of their only draft picks this year because of their own mismanagement, that they use it on this kid, that they decided, you know, why not? Let's get this guy. And there's a reason why he dropped. There's a reason why, you know, he was on that no draft list for other teams, that something like this can still happen. And the one that, when you talked about like what you had to say that was going on that made it really difficult to talk about, the one that that really resonated with me, or the one that really kind of hit me, was that when he would smash the kids, like Isaiah's head into the brick wall. That one was like, I couldn't read that part. And the one thing that I kind of take for this is the comments on the article itself, the comments on what other reporters have been saying about it, where it's like, oh, let kids be kids. Like, no, he knew what he was doing.
Have you like guys, I don't know about you. I don't know about decent people, but never when I am now 21. Alex, happy belated birthday. Just turned 20.
Thanks.
Sorry to bring your birthday like this.
It's okay.
Daniel, you're a few years older than us. But I never remember a time in elementary school, kindergarten, high school, even now in university, when I have like ever thought, you know what I'm going to do to someone? Like I'll be like, you know, if Alex and I are having a good discussion about something, you know what I'll do? I'll ignore his text or something. But why in the world? What sick sort of mind do you have to have? What is wrong with you that this is how you go about treating other people? I seriously cannot understand it. And I don't think I ever will.
There's a difference between making a mistake and listen, it's true. It's not false that kids make mistakes and do stupid things. But this is beyond that, right? This is beyond. There's teasing and there's bullying. And yes, these things happen. And I've seen it happen where those specific people do a complete 180. But this is beyond that. This is I don't even know how many times worse than what the standard type of thing is.
And so reports have said apparently that this prospect has gotten counseling, has, you know, done stuff
willingly.
Alex, I know.
You know where I'm gonna get to.
Oh yes, has done stuff like, done the counseling for this other stuff, sort of done like stuff in the community, but it gets all thrown out the window. And Alex will go more into this in a second. I know he will, but it kind of all goes out the window if you have not gotten to the person that you victimized and not even apologized to them. Apparently with interviews with teams, he also sent out apologies to them, but not to Isaiah.
For what?
Which proves Alex, like, he doesn't feel bad, does he?
No. Wanted to get drafted.
He got caught.
Sorry, if I'm looking away, I'm writing things down because points are coming to my head and I'm going to forget them. And I want to bring all these points up. Mm-hmm. So do you have anything else to say, Daniel? Because I don't want to cut you off.
No. I'll follow along with what you have to say.
There are points. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's so many different ways to look at, not different ways. There's so many different things to look at in this story. It's kind of ridiculous. And I had to pull up a couple things. Let's start with the Arizona Coyotes. Why? Like, okay, let's break it down again. This is the quote from Coyotes president and CEO Xavier Gutierrez, who was just put in, I believe he's recently become CEO, and I believe he's actually heading the inclusion and the NHL's anti-racism. I don't remember exactly what it's called. The Executive Inclusion Council. Mm-hmm. He's part of that. No, that's the thing. Sorry, man. When we first learned of Mitchell's story, it would have been easy for us to dismiss him. Many teams did. He continued. Instead, we felt it was our responsibility to be part of the solution in a real way, not just saying and doing the right things ourselves, but ensuring that others are too. That's the worst excuse I've ever heard in my life. Again, why are you trying to be part of a solution he does not want to be a part of? In what way does that make any sense at all?
You would naturally think, okay, if your parents tell you move that lamp because if you walk by that part of your table, you're going to knock it over and break it, right? If you then don't do that and break the lamp, the first step is you apologize and you admit what you did was wrong or anything like that. Why do you think you can suddenly change someone if they aren't willing to change themselves? Isn't the whole thing of getting help is admitting you have a problem? If this guy, again, it's so simple as in he doesn't see the regret. I don't believe it. So what? You're then going to use your abilities in NHL team to help him when he won't do it himself. This is nothing going to do nothing but help his own life when really he doesn't deserve it.
If he cared, he would have done more than whatever the sentence was from juvie, and he would have apologized to the kid he was bullying. There is zero excuse from any kid who does that. Who doesn't do that?
Not there, right? Like you took the time to write these letters to all 31 teams, but you didn't do.
You think he wrote that letter?
No,
I don't.
But
I don't.
You do the main thing that you should be doing is apologizing.
The bare minimum.
No, to his victim, which he didn't do.
No, he signed a letter from his agent. That's all. This.
And he still gets to play NCAA hockey.
Yeah. And the nerve of I know why they've done it, of his coach isn't that to apparently say, oh, he's grown as a person?
Prove it.
Well, like
prove it.
Dude, first of all, you're the NCAA. Don't you dare try and tell me you're there for the players. How about you pay them first, you losers? Like, and you're going to, again, I look at what a professional athlete can all of a sudden do with their lives, what opens to them. And I think of probably the long-lasting effects that are going to happen to Isaiah. Because if you experience that stuff at a certain age, I would assume that it would stick with you in some way, shape, or form forever. And all of a sudden
until you deal with it, yeah.
Yes.
And now, even when you deal with it, it sticks with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In terms of dealing with it, like I mean going to seek help for that because I can
like therapy in that.
Yeah, yes.
You're getting physically and emotionally abused by your classmates. Like that is so he will have to sort of deal with this. And I can't think of the emotional toll of having to lick the lollipop and stuff like that. And now I also imagine that like with everything coming out, there are those people who will attack both parties. And what you see here is what Isaiah has gone through and will have to go through. And now what is at the disposal, what tools are at the disposal of this prospect, and how much will he get angry Twitter messages? Yes, but he now has a NHL team worth how many millions of dollars backing him?
Well, negative
because they're not going to go out and say we made a mistake.
It's negative millions of dollars. That team is
still, you know
absolutely
what I mean? Like
worthless.
It's like you have a franchise that it's still like you're not going to be.
No,
like,
I know. Yeah, you're right. I know what you mean.
Team that the NHL has had its back for how goddamn long, and he's already like the laughing stock of the league. Because in a calendar year, their whole management structure got shaken up. And apparently, before COVID, they didn't have this guy on their list. But some things apparently changed, and they changed their mind.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
And the combine stuff.
It's
how do you root for this team? You think Oliver Ekman-Larsson regrets putting that trade deadline in, and he's like, no, get me out of here.
Actually, funny you say that. It just popped up on my thing. It said he didn't actually. Let's see. Ekman-Larsson, I never really wanted the Coyotes to trade me, but I think that's separate from all this. It's not this topic is not in the score article. So
like it's nothing like today that's been like, hey, so talk about this, Oliver.
I don't think they asked him about this.
Yeah, but still, like,
which it's not. He shouldn't be asked. Like, it's not his concern.
If you are a Coyote right now, you're playing for this organization that has this heat on it right now. Would you not be embarrassed?
Oh, absolutely. The draft combine stuff is one thing, right? Which again, that in itself is unacceptable in terms of the sport. In terms of the sport itself and the rules that have been set up. This is completely different. This is bigger than the sport. Sorry, go.
No, go ahead.
From all the things I've read, I do not think he has changed.
I mean, what evidence really is there to say otherwise?
None. And I wrote this down, and I do want to get to this point, and it connects to wanting to change. One thing I do not like the most of is people willingly being hypocrites. That's just a pet peeve. So I'm going to stay consistent with my view of how we handled Don Cherry, how we handled
Bill Peters,
how we handled who was the NBC guy? Why can't I remember his name?
Mike Milbury.
I forgot that's how recognizable this man is to me. I want to see receipts, and I don't want to see just a receipt that you were forced to do, because that means zero. That means zero to me. I want to see willing receipts that you did by yourself and prove to me that you changed. You ruined your first chance. I'm very for people getting a second chance, and we've had this discussion on the podcast. But you need to prove why you deserve a second chance, and I see zero.
Daniel.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not that it's comical, but it's just kind of thing where it's just like Arizona, you keep one-upping yourself with these mistakes this whole year. This reminded me of another story. This actually kind of happened in the MLB. I believe it was the draft 2 years ago. So there was a player named Luke Heimlich, and he was a pitcher out of Oregon State University. And this guy was supposed to go in the first round, in the second round, and he was not drafted. And because he had previous misconducts when he was 15, 16 years old, it was actually a molestation charge. And the way these things go is, you know how many rounds there are in baseball? It's like sometimes just 38 rounds. Yeah. And every team made sure they didn't pick this guy. They knew that the talent was there. Like he was a superstar pitcher in the MLB, and he was supposed to go in the first round, and every team, no matter how many picks they had, they still didn't pick the guy. Like, I don't think there was an excuse for the Coyotes to kind of say, we're going to be part of the solution. Let's use one of our only draft picks on this Mitchell Miller kid and see what happens. I realize that, it is something that they want to say that, we are not going to resent the pick, but like, it just reminded me of that story where if the MLB could do it with these many teams saying we're not going to pick this guy, like, what is the Coyotes' excuse here?
I'm surprised we've only heard it's apparently around 10 teams that have him on that didn't have him on their lists. I want to know why it's not 31. It's another sort of stepping just back from this situation, stepping back from the Coyotes. Looking at hockey as a whole, I think Donald said something. It's like a thing of just hockey just loves it. I'm paraphrasing here. That hockey just loves making itself look terrible. Is this just not another indictment on the NHL? Because it's like you have this whole thing of they wanted real change. It didn't really feel. I mean, you had the whole Western Conference in the bubble when, you know, all the strike stuff started happening. Every player came out. Then you look at the Eastern Conference. Only the captains come out, and it looks terrible.
But that's on the players, though. That one's on the players. We're talking about the league, right?
But then
we have to separate the two. We have to remember that, right?
But then if we go to the games, they had the great messages of, you know, saying like we need to end racism and all that. They had it for a few games. I don't think it's anything in the cup final. And then the fact that you still have leagues, like staff, general managers that are still, like, even considering drafting him. Like, let's get a smack outside the head.
You're right. You know what we haven't heard? What happened with Dale Talon?
Yeah.
Because last thing I heard, he's up for consideration for some whatever position for the Pittsburgh Penguins, which screams to me, I'm just bringing on a friend.
Gold Boys Club once again strikes.
Yeah.
Again, that's just whatever. I get, like, you put it out there, right? And they put it that we're gonna have an investigation that was out there. What happened? Listen, if it's false, if it's wrong, if the investigation proved that this did not happen, then go ahead.
You could really make the thing of the NHL needs a bit more transparency with this stuff. Because, man, you're shooting yourself in the foot a lot here.
I could use another example right now too from the NBA.
Yeah, go
where you know, it's alleged that, you know, Terrence Davis has, like, shooting guard Terrence Davis on Toronto Raptors, you know, he has these allegations against him right now that he's being charged. And this is a guy that I compare it again. This is a guy that actually made a contribution to the team last year, that he was considered to be part of the future. And now the Raptors considering they're going to probably release him this week.
Right.
And I'm comparing it to that where, you know, you could look at what the situation is, what's kind of going on with the team. You know, you could say it's publicity, you could say it's whatever, but, you know, they're taking the decision to say, we're going to distance ourselves from this, even from a guy who's been a positive contributor. If you're going to, like, I'm sorry to say, like, you know, if you're going to defend a 4th round pick, a guy that, you know, he may or may not make it and make it into a whole thing that, you know, now the Coyotes are going to say, we're going to back ourselves up for this. It's just, it's another comical thing to me.
I do want to speak on that point, but I want to just, before I do, I want to talk about something Adam brought up about something that Donald said. And I know he was probably being a little sarcastic in terms of him saying the NHL just wants to keep looking bad. Is that what it was?
Yeah, Donald said something along that line on Twitter.
I think it's like the NHL keeps dunking on itself or something.
Oh, dunking on itself, right.
Yeah.
I just don't think the NHL cares. Yeah. I'll be honest. I don't. And we were talking about it today in one of my classes. In terms of, is the NHL just being performative? At the end of the day, most sports leagues are just doing that. But I think the NHL is most of that is just doing that.
They just wanted to finish their playoffs and over.
Yeah, I don't listen, and I'll tell you why I don't think they care. And I'll give you 2 prime examples. How long did it take Don Cherry to get off of CBC? And how long and how many times did it take Mike Milbury to say something for them to finally say, step aside? Listen. I'm all like, I'm not trashing. I know a little bit I am. Like, listen, number one, their hockey takes are so outdated. Like, they're like absolute dinosaurs. And just the comments they make are absolutely bizarre to me. Absolutely bizarre.
It took enough eyes because if I remember, Milbury made a joke about NCAA women's hockey early in the playoffs. And it wasn't until he said the woman remark in a later round when there was probably more eyes. And Don, the big thing with Don is they only let him go because he wouldn't apologize, which is, and it took decades and a lot of, so it took a lot. To get off the air.
I remember the night it happened. I
didn't blink because it was like, oh, he said much worse than this.
Listen, I was out at, I remember exactly where I was. I was at Boston Pizza sitting there with two friends. The hockey game was on and I made a joke. I said, I guarantee you Don Cherry says something stupid tonight. And I was right. And I didn't want to be right. Mm-hmm. So that's why I don't think the NHL cares. Daniel, I apologize. What was your point that you said before? I should have written it down and I forgot.
Oh, no problem. It was just kind of the thing that you said too, like the NHL doesn't care because we give the example. I gave the example of the MLB and the NBA where, Swift kind of things. I give an example of, cutting a player who's already been a contributor and then the fact that, so I've just been looking it up right now. Luke Heimlich, when he was for Oregon State University 2 years ago, this guy was the national pitcher of the year in the NCAA, and he didn't get drafted.
Damn. I remember what I was going to say. Thank you. If you dare to throw it in people's faces about analytics and best player available, you are an absolute coward. And you know who the people who are doing it? The people who are throwing that, and I've seen it. The people who are throwing that in people's face and saying, oh, what about best player available? Oh, what about analytics? Those are the people who don't like analytics. So you can go shove one, where, because I am so done. People are so dense. Honestly, some people are so dense that they can't figure out what analytics are, and they use it as an excuse to throw shade at people.
Right.
That's what I have to say.
Shall we? We covered a lot there. Nice end message here, people. I think, as we normally like to say when we have these really serious discussions, be good people. Treat people like you'd like to be treated, please. Alex, to lighten the mood a bit, you talked about going to Boston Pizza with your friends. Thanks for the invite, by the way.
This is wild. Yeah.
Were these the same friends who got you that Zach Bogosian jersey?
No, different friends. No. Zach Bogosian jersey. Wow. Let's go.
If you want to see his Alex's birthday gift, his new Zach Bogosian 20 release jersey, be sure to check out the YouTube portion of the show for a visual experience. Another reason you might want to look at that is we're going to be doing a little deep dive into the Colorado Avalanche. We're going to have Cap Friendly up probably for this segment. So if you want to follow along, first off, we can look at their defense. They just re-signed Devon Taves to a 4-year extension, $4.1 million per. And it seems like people either loved or hated that deal by the responses. I think it's fine.
I think it's great.
And I guess let's start with the defense. Alex, I believe in a conversation that you two had on the group chat, and I think I was on the train or something, talked about that this is probably the second best defensive core in the West, which is saying something.
Wait, never mind.
What?
Because you said train, but I realized you were taking Via Rail, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I thought you were on the metro, so I was going to say, don't you mean the tube, Adam?
No. It was not, if you're gonna say it like that, you have to say the tube.
I know. When you said elevator, I was like, "Don't you mean lift?"
No.
Okay. Just making sure.
No, I mean when you say tube, you have to say not tube, it's tube. You have to kind of have
okay.
There.
That's a good one, Daniel.
So if
tube, lift, cottage pie. I don't know.
If Colorado was a chef, what chef would Colorado's defense be?
I have no idea. Who's the second best chef in the world? You know what?
Iron Chef Matsumura.
Who's the second best chef in Europe?
Well, to be fair, Gordon probably wouldn't say he's the best. I think he would probably.
He's too humble.
You would credit a guy like Guy Savoy. So you'd probably say that they're the Guy Savoy of defense.
Okay.
Is that guy good?
Guy Savoy?
I don't know.
I don't know.
He was like Gordon credits Guy Savoy as like his like main teacher. People will say like Marco Pierre White, but Gordon will say Guy Savoy before Marco Pierre White.
So he's like our Martin Brodeur. Okay,
I believe you. I don't know chefs, so I'm just.
I thought you said yeah, so like, oh, I'm the one who's left out of here.
No, I don't know. I'm just gonna agree with him.
I'll just start nodding now. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, Eric Johnson, nice steady stay-at-home guy. Samuel Girard, Ian Cole, Devon Taves, Ryan Graves, and the last name you may have heard of him, Kill McFreaking and Bowen Byram is not on that list. Neither is Trevor Timmins.
Connor Timmins.
Trevor.
Who the hell? No, Trevor Timmins is the Habs assistant GM.
Yeah.
Connor Timmins.
He's not on the roster either.
We've had that discussion.
On the Avalanche, yeah.
Yeah. I actually wrote down a full lineup.
Oh, what? Like your projected lines?
Mm-hmm.
Did you as in write it on a piece of paper or did you type it?
I got 2 pages.
Oh my
wow.
Christ, what was that?
I did yesterday. My notebook.
All right. Good.
Yeah, I have I have Graves and Mccaw together, Girard and Johnson, and then Devon Taves and Ian Cole. Just because last season Graves and Mccaw played the most together, 495 minutes. Girard and Johnson played 608 minutes together. And then obviously I don't know about Devon Taves and Ian Cole because Devon Taves is new to the team.
Mm-hmm. Good player though, from what I hear. I wonder. I guess Ian Cole is probably gone at the end of next year too.
Yeah.
Daniel, do you have a thought on this defensive core?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have more to say about their forwards, but right now the way I see
things, in there, David. Damn it.
The way I kind of see with it is with Ian Cole like coming off the books and then Bowen Byram coming in, and like everybody with term like that defense is going to be rock solid for quite a while.
Yeah.
That the fact that you could get someone like Devon Taves who played such a huge role for the Islanders and like on your projection, Alex, he's going to be on the third pairing. Like that's insane to me.
I mean, like for me, I look at that and say, okay, if Devon Taves or Girard can play the right, I think that's kind of your second pairing, and then Ian Cole and Johnson as your third pair. I was just spreading things out, kind of.
Yeah, it does make sense. I think that they positioned themselves so well. They haven't really overpaid anybody, and that's what I kind of like about it. That we're gonna talk about this more with the offense, but it's these guys who are just kind of dialed in. Like we've talked so much about the Bruins, trying to get these guys under like, the team culture of, take a discount so you could spread the wealth. Like I think the Avalanche have become the new model for that. They've been able to kind of get these guys on these terms that, they still get what they're worth, but this is meant to like they overachieve from what their cap hit is.
You mentioned the forwards one more time. I'm going to throw my hat again. I'm going to do it.
And just to build on that point, their decor is relatively quite young, right? Graves, Girard, and Mccaw I think are all under 25. Taves is 26.
Do you want me to tell you all the name, like the ages right now?
Sure, go ahead.
Eric Johnson, 32, but Girard, 22. Ian Cole, 31, whatever. Taves, 26. Graves, 25. Mccaw is 21.
Yeah.
God, they're young.
Bowen Byram, 19.
Yeah, and then Timmins, not Trevor.
Connor.
22.
Like, yeah, like I wouldn't even be surprised depending on what the AHL and the WHL situations are this year if Bowen Byram gets some type of NHL minutes at some point this year.
Where would you fit him? Who would you scratch to make room for
Cole.
him? Ian Cole?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Two-time Stanley Cup champion, Ian Cole?
Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, but like you're like our seventh best defenseman. Sorry, guy. Next, we'll look at a position I really hoped that the Avalanche would shore up. Their goaltending. It's still going to be Philip Grubauer for another year.
Yeah.
And Pavel Francouz's extension kicks in $2 million for this in next year, guys. I mean, what can you say that hasn't been said about this core before? I mean, they're a good tandem. It's just Grubauer got hurt and they got screwed. I mean, can he hold it together? How are they going to look in the condensed schedule?
It really disappoints me.
Same.
Why?
Because
they didn't do anything with it. And there was such a market. And
it reminds me of a cake where you love the cake, but then like you don't like the frosting.
So
have you ever had a cake where you didn't like the frosting? Because I've never had that.
Really? I think like it was like a Black Forest cake I had like years ago. Okay. Anyways.
Okay.
Like red velvet. Sorry, Alex. Because they didn't do anything.
No, I understand that, and I understand that. But with this team, what you're looking for is a solidified starter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we all agree that Braden Holtby isn't the Braden Holtby he was 2 years ago.
Nah, he sucks.
Robin Leonard was off the market.
I think that was their guy.
Which
and
leaves.
I obviously have no connections, but I think they were hoping that Leonard would have hit it.
Which leaves Markstrom as really the big number one starter on the market. And I wouldn't feel comfortable giving up for this team 6x6 to Markstrom.
No, you know what? I'm going to change my mind. I don't think they needed I don't think they needed Leonard. I think they needed another guy better than Francouz. Because Francouz could do wrong, but this year he was great in the regular season.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, though, he fell apart.
He was 21, 7-4.
Yeah.
923, 2.41. He was 9th in the entire league in goals saved above average.
Yeah, no
analytics.
And he's like, check.
Draw.
Yeah. He's all right, but then he was an 892 in 6 games in the playoffs. And
absolutely.
It's amazing how the playoffs, like bad performances, can just shake one's opinion of a player. And I've just lost all confidence in Pavel Francouz.
Like I wrote down, it's an area of slight improvement, but like I still think you give one more. Like Grubauer's contract ends at the end of the year, right? At the end of this coming season.
Correct.
Like I think you give it one more year with these two, and let's see what Grubauer's like. Like this, it's gonna be a playoff team. No, like I don't even think that's a question. If anyone's questioning that, you're insane. And see where you go from there at that point.
Daniel, anything to add?
I think they're gonna do the Leafs approach with things. Like not saying they have a Frederick Anderson, but I'm gonna say that to kind of address a few more starts here and there, I could see them being that team that gets someone like a Jack Campbell if they need it at the deadline. I think they're going to kind of go into this year seeing what they have, and then if they're not satisfied, they're going to do something.
Yeah. I think if they don't do something at the deadline, I think they're fools. And I love this team. I have such a big special place for the Avalanche in my heart.
The Patrick Waugh connection.
Yeah, obvious. And they have really nice jerseys. I mean, burgundy is a sexy color. Like I can't tell you how many burgundy shirt, pants, shoes.
Vans. Yeah, your Vans.
The burgundy Vans are like the staple of my wardrobe. Like seriously, that's I think I have some.
I always thought it'd be the red ones, Yeah,
no, the red ones are if I ever see Elliot Friedman, and he's because he got one of them. Yeah, Elliot. All right, the forwards. I mean, what? I saw a video from TS, and I didn't watch it because it was complete hogwash. But it was a video titled, "Is McDavid going to get outscored by McKinnon?" And I thought to myself, I'm happy I've been on this bandwagon since last summer because I can feel like I started it, even though I totally didn't.
You didn't start the fire?
I didn't start. I did, but it's
Ryan started the fire.
But it's like I started the fire like a few blocks up the street, and no one noticed it because the fire brigade was the other side of the field, and they were coming northbound, and they saw the one that were started by the people in Edmonton.
Right.
It's just like McKinnon could he? Yes. Will I put money on him outscoring McDavid?
No.
If McDavid gets hurt, yeah, but if he's healthy, God no, he's not.
Be a fun race to watch.
Oh, it would be amazing. I mean, look at the supporting cast. McKinnon's a god, but I mean, has McDavid what's his worst? When he was healthy, I don't think this is the first season since his rookie one where he didn't hit 100 because of the of the shortened season. And McKinnon unfortunately has never hit 100 points. It could happen.
Not yet.
I hope it happens because
Yeah.
I love him and I think he's the best player in the world right now. But like, he had points in all but one game in the playoffs. Like, but like, let's not get it confused. Like, McDavid's the better player, but I mean, like, sorry, like, I had to gush about McKinnon. You guys knew I was going to do that to start. Though, like, I'm looking at some of the names they brought in. Brandon Saad, I think, is going to be they're going to love him. I love that pickup so much.
And you didn't really have to give up anything of significance.
No, it's always a
all.
good day when you can make the Blackhawks lose another Brandon Saad deal.
I like Nikita Zadorov, though.
Okay, I'll put it this way. Would you rather have Nikita Zadorov or would you rather have Devin Tays?
I actually don't know.
This is you are thinking about this. You are thinking about this too long.
No.
I think it's just I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, we will see.
We'll see how it goes with the new teams.
Again, if Chicago and Edmonton meet up in the playoffs, I will still tell you that Chicago's defense is still not good enough.
Well, Brandon Saad, I wonder where he slips in here because I don't think it's 100% that the top line of Landeskog, McKinnon, and Rantanen will be like 100%, right? Because it has been split up before. But I wonder who will be on that line because I'm pretty sure it's going to be Kadri and Donskoy as one definitive pair.
You think so?
Yeah, and probably the Rantanen, McKinnon, and I just wonder where does Saad go because if I'm Saad's a good puck retrieval guy, right? So I wonder if his job would just be give it to McKinnon, as I think everyone's job is.
I could see that, like him playing on that left side with Nathan McKinnon. Kind of reminds me of like Zach Hyman or what a Chris Kreider is going to be with whatever the Rangers are going to look like this year.
You could throw Burakovsky up there too. I mean, he's no slouch.
You can literally put anyone on the left wing. They put Vlad Nemestikov, man.
Reminds me of Pascal Dupuis and Chris Kunitz.
That is a very good comparison. Chris Kunitz, he was a first ballot Hall of Famer in my books.
Yeah, first ballot.
Yeah.
Mighty Ducks legend.
You know who else is a first ballot Hall of Famer? Patrick Mccaw.
Who?
Patrick Mccaw. He won three or four in a row at Daniel.
Oh, he won three in a row in his first 3 years in the NBA.
Oh,
so he has three. He has 3 rings.
2 with Golden State and 1 with the Raptors.
Oh, so he got lucky. Eh?
And he got injured for the playoffs. That everyone's like, that's why the Raptors lost in the playoffs.
Exactly.
But this guy's like a bench warmer.
See, I have Saad with Kadri and Burakovsky on the second line. I think Burakovsky proved enough to say, "Hey, I'm a second line winger."
Yeah.
And he got paid for it, kind of, right? For 4.5 for 2 years, 4.9 for 2 years, right? So, I do think that. I mean, listen, that's not a. Oh, that's a pretty damn good top 6. And it's not like the third line's awful. Like it's Tyson Yost, JT Compher, and Jonas Donskoy.
Yo, man.
Right? I think Washington regrets that trade.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, what do they? Because they won the cup afterwards.
Yeah.
Right? A few years afterwards. But
no, he won with them.
Did he?
Yeah. This is his first year with Colorado.
No, but was he with New Jersey? Or am I thinking of someone else?
That's Marcus Johansson.
He has been around.
Yeah.
He has been thrown around like a frisbee at a dog park. Jesus Christ. And that's probably the injuries are the teeth marks, honestly. God, where did he go?
Minnesota. Oh, Washington, New Jersey.
Austin.
Then
Boston.
Yeah, it was for the cup run.
Yeah.
Or for the playoff run. Then he signed for 2 years in Buffalo and then got traded for Eric Stahl.
Yeah. Apparently they liked his chemistry with Charlie Coyle, but the Sabres overpaid him.
Who's the better team, Vegas or Colorado?
I
think wait and see for me because I think Colorado didn't make huge moves that they're going to bring back kind of like the same
Daniel, I'm going to make you make a decision because honestly, the only thing we can go on is paper because we might not have a season.
Okay, I think
all we have.
In terms of familiarity, I'm going to have to say the Avalanche because they added and they didn't really kind of change the dynamic in a way. I think the Golden Knights did do that with Paul Stastny and Nate Schmidt gone, but then bringing in Alex Pietrangelo, not really sure, how is he going to perform?
Oh, I can tell you how
in a new system.
Perform.
I think he'll be good.
I think he'll be fine.
They might have the best pairing in the league, unless Erik Karlsson. And you know what? I love when I think of something and then they mention on the C Dangle podcast, because I was thinking to myself the other day, Erik Karlsson's going to be wicked, because you know I love him, right? And then when Steve Dangle was like, Karlsson's had a year of rest, I was like, yes!
Yeah.
Yes, he has. Unless him and Burns are like gods, and for some reason they play together. But But Theodore and Pietrangelo, well, we'll hold that off until we do a Vegas. Let's do a Vegas deep dive next episode.
I think that's an interesting question because I think Vegas has them beat in net.
That is true.
And the Marc-Andre Fleury, of course, yep.
And defense. Mm-hmm. Yes, you lost Nate Schmidt, but you lost Nate Schmidt and brought in Alex Pietrangelo. So, what?
Pretty good player.
Yeah, pretty good player.
I heard fire.
What?
No.
I thought you said there might be a fire. I'm like, oh no.
Ryan Starr.
But I do think Colorado does have the better offense, though. You know what? I'll go with Colorado.
In terms of their offense, because I want to talk about this, even when we're talking about defense. It's I don't know, some of the contracts are very interesting to me. Like
what?
Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, I think he's so valuable to the team, and he's getting less money than Matt Calvert and JT Compher.
Mm-hmm.
And then these are guys that are not getting paid too much, but I just kind of wonder when the extension starts coming in, is there gonna be a bit of a squeeze in Colorado?
Well, no, because McKinnon's taking less.
Whatever. Because we still don't know what that means.
Because we don't know about Landeskog or...
Well, I believe Friedman brought it up on a 31 Thoughts episode that they're working on an extension. I wrote it down too. Mm-hmm. It says they've started talks. So
when was that?
Maybe
what episode was that?
I don't remember. I think it was the episode where they did the rapid fire for each team.
Oh, okay. Hey, I hope they get it together. I like Landeskog.
I'd be very surprised if
he leaves, though.
If he leaves.
McKinnon gets the seat. Let's go.
Yeah. No, they're going to go for the youngest guy again. It's going to be Bowen Byron. I remember it was Duchesne, O'Reilly were already on the team. And then this guy that we just drafted, he's going to be our captain.
Man, in hindsight, though, I mean, that's the right decision. Duchesne should never get a letter. Never.
Does he have a letter in Nashville?
I would be amazed if, because what is it? Yossi's captain. I would be amazed if Forsberg and Ellis didn't have an A.
I'll double check.
Ekholm's a good one. Yeah, you shouldn't give it to Duchesne. After that Uber video, he should never get one. I've got a rookie in the car. Let me totally bash my assistant coach. What an idiot.
We never talked about Dylan DeMello when it comes to that.
Was he in the car? I thought it was...
Well, it was Formanton, Duchesne, and who cares? Duchesne was the one doing the talking, though.
Okay. Christian Wolanin was in there, and I think he ended up getting traded a few days later.
So was right-handed defenseman Weidman, Chris?
It wasn't Christian Wolanin then. It was Chris Weidman. You're right.
The other Weidman, not the one who can cuss a referee.
Why can't I find Nashville?
Everybody was an all-star, Dennis Weidman.
Oh, yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
So it is Roman Josi. I don't know why they have 5 guys with letters, but Roman Josi's the captain. Ellis, Ekholm are assistants, and Johansson and Forsberg.
I'm guessing they do the whole
home and away thing.
Yeah, which is dumb.
I remember the wild to see the rotating captains.
Man, wasn't that a thing with Carolina? Falk and somebody shared it or something?
I don't know, but it was
after,
a thing here.
Eric Stahl was traded, yeah.
Oh, it was a thing here too.
Who? Really?
Not captains, alternates. It was so stupid.
Oh,
I know. I tried to get him when Lu Shen was named assistant for like a few games. I tried. Like, I'm like,
well, they made it. Tavares was captain, and then
I'm going way too back.
Riley, yeah, you're going way back. Riley was got an A, and then they gave Matthews an A for away games, and then they just threw Marner an A for fun for home games. I guess just because his dad asked for it or whatever.
Oh.
I'll never get over that.
I'm trying to remember when Gianta got traded, they did that in it was like Markov, Subban, Mechanics, and Pacioretty. Luckily, they fixed it now. Luckily, it's like Weber and then Gallagher and Byron. Yeah. How did Paul Byron get us? How does Petrie not have?
We don't know his locker room presence.
You know what? Daniel will have this answer for me. Who was Florida's captain before? Who's their captain now?
Alexander Barkov.
Who was the captain before Barkov? It was an absolute random name to me.
Derek McKenzie.
Yeah.
The enforcer.
Which is a more random one? Andy Green or Derek McKenzie?
I mean,
Derek McKenzie. Yeah, Derek McKenzie for sure.
Yeah, he was like a lifetime fourth liner.
Was Brian Campbell ever?
He was captain of the Sabres.
Really? He was a Sabre?
He was drafted by the Sabres. He became an all-star with Buffalo. Then he got traded at the deadline of 2008 to San Jose on their run. And then they got eliminated. And then he signed that huge contract with the Blackhawks before they traded him to Florida.
And then they brought him back.
And
story of the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Right. Is that everything?
Well, I have one question or two. About the
I did gel my hair. Thank you.
No, about the Avalanche.
Yeah.
What do they do with Saad after this year?
Let him go.
I think they'll wait and see how he fits.
Okay.
It's like, is this going to be the Brandon Saad of 40, 50 points? The Brandon Saad of 27, 37 points.
Fair.
I mean, on that team, you can get a solid 15 extra points by just taking too long a line change and McKinnon being out there.
That's true. And then Cale Makar, does he take a bridge deal or long term? Bridge deal, the examples I have written down: Werenski, McAvoy, long term, Thomas Chabot. And I think we talked about it with Harmon last episode.
Daniel, you go first.
I think they're going to say bridge because I think he's already proven himself that he could be a defensive anchor, that he's going to want to go for, the big one already.
I'm gonna cop out and give the heart, and I'm gonna quote Harmon and say we see what happens with Dahlin and Hughes first, mainly Hughes. Those two are gonna be eyeing each other all year. They're gonna be best friends depending on who has the better night. Hughes and Mccaw, because they're gonna make each other money.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They're gonna make each other money every shift, and it's gonna be
that's gonna be an last year was the forward RFA market. Or two, because there was Kachuk, Marner, who am I missing? There was a bunch of guys. Next year, it's Dahlin. Next year's Dahlin, Heiskanen, Makar, Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Hopefully, oh, you know what? By the way, you know what I think's gonna? I am convinced more and more what's gonna happen with Suzuki and Kotkaniemi and Romanov. They are so getting bridge deals. You know why?
Why?
I didn't realize this till I was listening to the Sport of Athletic. Who was the last young Canadian who got a long-term deal? And
Montreal Canadian?
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
Brendan Gallagher.
Really?
No one else. Galchenyuk, Domi, Piqué, they all got bridges.
But
I was thinking Saku Koivu. Sorry, I'm looking way too back.
Alex, I can't. I mean, Daniel, I can't. That's before my time. But anyway,
I was a young man at the time.
You know who else need to figure their stuff out? What the hell are Tampa gonna do? Because
they'll figure it out. Come on.
Are they? Because nothing's happening.
Trade a draft pick and a prospect with Tyler Johnson for future considerations.
Do it. See, this is what's annoying is there's all this stuff in the air. Can you just do it, please?
Yeah, but a team has to know. No team is gonna help Tampa Bay out. Vancouver, we're just kind of sitting there last year saying, "Oh, we'll take JT Miller," and he turned out well. I don't think there's any team willing to do that.
How about this? Middlestat is garbage. They give up on him, right?
Okay.
Buffalo want to make a crazy splash to make Jack Eichel and Taylor Hall stay. They offer Sheet Sorelli.
Oh.
Not Sergachev because they have to worry about Dahlin. Maybe they do both. But that's my big brain play.
But can you imagine if the Sabres are horrible again and they gave away those picks?
Again, I wouldn't be surprised.
Hilarious. And then Tampa gets Shane Wright or something in a few years. I don't know. Sure. And by the way, Patrice Bergeron's falling off this year.
That's a bold prediction. I feel like we've been saying that for a while. You know what's been going around, and I still don't understand why, because it was just Adam Wilde who said it.
That New Jersey are garbage?
No, that the New York. I've heard it twice now. I've seen it and I've heard it twice that the Rangers offer sheeting Matt Barzal.
I want that to happen.
It'd be so funny.
Massive, but I've only heard it from him. It started with Adam Wilde, and I've heard it twice after that.
I mean, why not? Both teams don't like each other anyways.
Oh, everyone would forget about John Tavares. It'd just be that. It'd be absolutely hilarious.
Because, I think with their cap right now, they can't match anything.
Tampa, they're dicked. If something happens right now, they're dicked.
I'm talking about the Islanders because if they lose Matt Barzal.
No, Lou sent out a memo to the entire league saying he will match everyone. That's what he said.
I kind of hope that maybe whoever, Jeff Gordon, just sends the email out hey guys, no one trade with him, and let's kind of try and screw over Lou here. Because
what happens is someone, or he tells one team, you sign Pulak, and then we'll sign Barzal at the same time.
Listen, Adam, no one has to. They don't have to send out that email. No one's helping anyone.
Then let's do it. Take advantage, people. Right. Are we good?
Oh, one last thing. The AHL have set a date to start the season, which is February 5th. Now the question is, will that actually go through?
I'm guessing they're going to hope the NHL does start in January and then just copy whatever they do.
Well, good thing the the GMs had a 3-hour meeting and got nothing done.
Oh, the NHL not the NHL, but the Hockey Diversity Alliance just tweeted something out. The NHL and the Coyotes should sign the HDA pledge and start practicing what they preach. And they say, item 6, the HDA pledge asks the NHL to agree that Kobe will not support, partner with, or accept support from any other organization that's engaged in, promoted, or failed to approximately respond to racist conduct in their organization of any kind, including without limitation I can't say that word with my mouth. Okay. The proliferation of hate speech, discrimination in the provision of goods, services, and facilities in other arenas such as employment. The Coyotes drafting of Mitchell Miller, who was convicted of bullying a developmentally disabled black classmate, and according to the victim's family, has not personally apologized, shows that zero tolerance of racism can't be taken for granted in the NHL. The NHL and the Coyotes should sign the HCA pledge and start practicing what they preach. I wish you had tweeted out an hour ago so we could put it in the show.
Well, it's in the show.
Yeah, you just said it.
Cool. I'm happy that I think we all knew they were going to say something. And quickly, final thoughts. What do you guys think of the new Dallas Stars jersey?
Oh my God.
I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a parody thing.
They look like, I saw somebody say they look like EASHL jerseys, and I could not stop laughing.
Do you guys remember I forgot her name, but she was the bad guy in Kim Possible?
Oh, man, my first crush was on Kim Possible. My God, I loved her.
What was the bad guys, the girl's name again?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong person.
Okay, but anyways, I thought that looked like that, the jersey.
I couldn't name you a single other character from that show.
Yeah, no, those are some ugly jerseys.
No, they're garbage.
Yeah.
All right.
Like Monster Energy.
Yeah. They look like DX jerseys.
DX. That's a good one.
Triple H from Dallas.
Sorry?
No, Triple H or Shawn Michaels from Dallas.
If they're smart, those two guys wear the jerseys the first time they do it and they walk in. That's awesome. If they're smart.
You remind me of why did Pittsburgh did nothing with the HBK?
He was at a game. He was at a game, was he not?
I know, but we didn't get the shirts.
That's true.
We didn't get the.
Because that would require old hockey men to be creative, and that doesn't happen.
Okay.
All right. Daniel, do you want to do the outro?
All right, listeners.
Don't forget my YouTube.
Daniel here. This was a great episode. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, VoiceEd, for always providing a platform for us. If you liked what you saw, if you didn't really like what you saw, please let us know on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and really anywhere you could find our show. Please don't forget, because I kind of did last week. I am sorry. Don't forget Adam's YouTube channel. What was your most recent video again? It was
Brendan Gallagher.
Brendan Gallagher.
Doesn't even remember.
I listened to it. I do. Yeah, if you like something, you didn't really like something, please give us a rating. Please offer us a comment. Let us know what we did and did not do. We will address it on the show. And please don't forget our bingo, because we believe it is a great, creative, and fun project that we have. Stay tuned for the next episodes.
Those ideas. Guys.
Yes. Stay tuned for the next few episodes when we take more deep dives into these teams.
Next up is Vegas.